Next time on a very spooky fine dining podcast, the season 1 finale, TGI Fridays the 13th. Oh, you betcha, pineapple's gonna hit the fan as Michael's son Juicy, or in this episode, Juice's son Voorhees, goes on a murderous rampage, and no one is safe. It gets real spooky, it gets real bloody, and not everyone's gonna make it to the end of the episode. Who will live, who will die? Listen to Fine Dining, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America, break down a trip to TGI Fridays based on the atmosphere, the service, and the food, and try not to be scared to death. Hear the thrilling finale of Fine Dining, Wednesday, October 25th, wherever you get your podcasts.
It's time for questions. Am I Harriet Langley-Swindon? And is this non-censored? Hello, and welcome to Non-Censored, the podcast that usually wraps up the best bits from my very real daily radio show. But this week is a little bit different. I'm joined as ever by Producer Martin. Hello, Producer Martin.
Hello.
Hello. And Diversity Correspondent Eshaan Akbar. Hello, Eshaan.
Shalom.
Oh, I don't know what that is. We're going to be answering all the questions that got sent to us by you, our people, the listeners, at noncensoredpodcast@gmail.com. We had to set up a Gmail account, by the way, because Martin opened an email he shouldn't have, and now all our radio stations' email addresses are being used to sell knockoff sunglasses.
In my defence, it said someone was in trouble.
I got one of those emails the other day, actually.
Yes, I'm sorry about that, Eshaan. I mean, it was stupid. It started, Dear Mum. I mean, Martin, it obviously wasn't for you.
Oh, you never know. We all have nicknames.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, what's the first question, Martin?
Yes, our first question is a voice note from Jonathan. Thank you, Jonathan.
Great name.
And it is...
Hello, Harriet and Martin. I'm really just being polite to Martin, though. My question is... I was arrested by PC Culture yesterday for saying something about trees. I said, they look pretty like all the same, really. Well, they do, don't they? They've all got leaves. Anyway, I'm now in custody. Can you come and get me out?
Well, firstly, I want to say, Jonathan, thank you so much for reaching out, because I understand that you only get one email when you go to prison. And the fact that Jonathan chose us is really quite wonderful. And
if his family have actually been
I don't
informed.
take lightly.
Have his family been informed of what's going on?
I think traditionally you'd use your one phone call, or in this case, email for maybe contacting a lawyer. So it might be unrepresented. This is...
Well, I guess we ought to say to any family and friends of Jonathan, if someone you know called Jonathan is missing and he had some hot takes on trees, just he might be in jail.
Check the PC police prisons.
I think everyone should
worrying,
just check their Jonathans anyway. Just, hold them tightly, squeeze them. Let them know
always good.
Them. I do. I also have a Jonathan. I'm sure you both know, and most of our listeners are aware. But there's lots of points to this question that I want to look at. Firstly, the PC police. They're who've arrested him, right? Not the police.
Well, yeah. I mean, this bit I find quite confusing, because every Halloween I go dressed as a police officer and I call myself PC Culture. So I'm wondering whether there is a real PC Culture, whether this is a person that's done this arresting.
Well, that's a very good point, Eshaan. I mean, he said he was arrested by PC Culture. That could well be a police constable. I think perhaps he's referring to more of the idea of political correctness.
Right.
Maybe he's been shut down by the woke brigade.
Do they now arrest people?
I mean,
that's quite worrying.
Let's look at the accusation here that it was for saying something about trees that they all look the same. So I guess it's discrimination against trees is the charge here. Or you could almost say it's high treason. He's been accused of tree.
Right. Well, look, as the diversity correspondent, I feel like this is very much in my tree house.
That's very good.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
So if I may use my expertise. Now, Jonathan's claim is that he was arrested because he said that all trees look the same. Now, what I'll do is start by talking about the perspective of dogs.
Oh, I like dogs.
Why?
Because to all dogs, all trees do look the same. All trees are an opportunity to take a break from the walk, perhaps sniff, and mark one's territory.
Yes.
So the next animal, in terms of intelligence, squirrels. So all
What are you getting at here? I don't understand.
Well, sorry, Eshaan. Are you saying that squirrels are perhaps more intelligent than dogs?
Yes.
Wow. That is, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that, but...
they definitely are.
I might almost say you're barking up the wrong tree there, mate.
Well, dogs can't go up trees, but squirrels can, so immediately they are.
Right, they're better climbers, yeah. No,
better, yes. In fact, my cousin in Afghanistan is setting up some guide squirrels.
Oh, wonderful.
They're very good at finding mines, or at least the adults find the mines, but the squirrels, unfortunately, die.
Oh,
right.
That's so darling.
Okay,
that is.
Just to bring it back onto topic here, I mean, how do you think this
relates to
Well, as I was saying, so if we go from an evolutionary perspective, right?
Yeah.
If dogs see all trees as the same and squirrels see all trees as the same, and I was going to say birds, the next intelligent, also see all trees as the same, therefore it stands to reason that to adults, the adult human eye, all trees must be the same.
Well, I mean, just speaking as a man who has eaten apples and oranges, I think that is probably scientifically inaccurate.
Well, they can have different characteristics.
Yes, it is inaccurate, but I'd also like to commend your bravery, Eshaan, and I think we shouldn't shy away from this because we have just heard about how a man has been arrested. He's been arrested because he said that trees look the same, and now you're saying the same thing on radio.
Know, I'm unarrestable because I'm an ethnic minority.
Yes.
Therefore, I can say the things that PC culture usually frowns upon, but actually I get...
Yes, of course. You literally have a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Absolutely. I get carte blanche, or should I say carte branche?
Oh, that's very naughty joke.
Really?
Oh, dear. The wokies aren't going to like that at all.
No.
Oh.
Just to once again bring it back to the subject, I think we might have got a little distracted here because the actual question that Jonathan's asking is whether we can come and get him out of custody.
No.
No, sadly we can't.
Yeah, that's just a pretty quick no there.
Yes.
No, sorry, Jonathan. If you're listening from the sounds of your cell, firstly, I'm a little bit worried for you, Jonathan, because who exactly has arrested you? Is it a prank? I mean, I'm I know the woke left there is a danger, but I'm a bit confused about why they've locked you up and where. But also, we just don't have the resources or the time or the inclination really to help.
Or the desire.
But we are willing to use our platform for good and spread word about your plight.
Yes.
And that is why we're hearing at your question today.
And also, Jonathan, if you are listening, don't forget to give us 5 stars and write a nice review.
Thank you, Jonathan. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Anyway.
And best of luck.
Our next question is from another Jonathan. Would you believe it?
Stop it.
I really hope it's
Well, I hope it's not my husband.
Although this one is from America. Okay. Oh. And he writes, I love your show, Harriet. What a wimp is poor producer Martin. Always trying to insinuate morality into a little bit of fun.
Yes.
Please, could you engage directly with our Trumpian QAnon friends in the US of A? I know they would agree with everything you say and also with your diversity correspondence, hot and spicy takeaways.
Oh,
wow.
Well, I mean, that's lovely. What a lovely, thoughtful message from American Jonathan.
Seems a little unnecessary to me. Wimp. That's bullying for starters.
Well, but you have to understand, Producer Martin, these Americans, especially these Trump Americans, they are all men, you see. They're very strong alpha males who believe in pedophiles in a basement. So they are going to look at you and they are going to see...
the pedophiles are in the basement, not the I thought usually paedophiles kept them and the others in the basement. I don't realise.
I think they hide in the basement of, I believe, a pizza restaurant here in New York.
Right.
That sounds terrible.
Yes.
Which one? Do we know which one? We should tell people about that.
Yes, I think we do. We do know which one. A man went over there with a camera.
Yes.
And sadly, he couldn't find any paedophiles in the basement.
He just found dough.
But, they were hiding. They were
hiding beneath the dough.
I stick to a Franco Manca. Rarely have a basement there. It's mainly on the level. I don't think they even have upstairs.
I can't say for sure, but I don't think any British pizzeria has paedophiles in their basement.
The Trumpian QAnon friends that you're being encouraged to engage with there.
Yes.
Just to unpack that a little, we're talking about, I suppose, the fringe right-wing, perhaps beyond conservatives of the country.
The
Republicans.
Harry doesn't have a right-wing fringe. Harry's got a lovely fringe, thank you very much.
No, I mean, I'm not to take anything. I think your hair looks fantastic, Harriet.
Thank you.
It's very daring to cut the fringe.
I didn't realise it was pronounced QAnon. I thought it was Qanon.
Oh,
no,
I think you're getting that confused with
like duck.
Denon.
Oh yes.
Is it one of those things like you say tomato, I say tomato?
I think
it's very
perhaps.
very expensive to say either of those words these days. You can't bloody get them for love of money.
Yes, because of the European Union trying to ruin Brexit.
Yes.
But I think I'd love to engage with the Trumpians. I mean, I'd like to say, though, Martin, they're not fringe. I mean, you forget Trump was president. A lot of people voted him in. And the thing about these Trump guys is they're a bit loud, a bit brash, but they've got absolute heart of golds. Absolute heart of gold.
And also, really, they're kindred spirits with the left because, the left like protesting. They protested on Capitol Hill. That was a protest. That's fine.
Well,
you just run
I think
in.
that protest was all right, though, wasn't it? I mean, It showed a real sort of gumption where the lefties over here, they protest. They just sort of lie in the road and things like that, like this.
Super glue.
Victorian people with ailments.
Yes.
It's not very.
Yes.
It's not very macho, is it?
I'd
that's what I want to see. I want to see some macho protesting.
I would happily have those fringe groups round on a round table with non-censored.
There were 9 people that died. But I mean, just to bring it once again back to, I think he does raise a very important question there, Jonathan, which is, are we going to engage with the US? And I think we certainly could, couldn't we? What would we call it? We'd sort of we'd have to rebrand the show, call it I'll have a large non-censored with fries, the nonsense gun. We're going to shoot you in the face with that. No, that's not.
Non-censor, red, white, and blue.
Oh, my goodness.
That's actually really good. That is really very good. That is actually very good.
Wow. Do you know what? I wish I could be with American Jonathan right now because I think he would be loving this.
I think he'd love that. Non-censor, red, white, and blue.
And remember,
coming to you very soon. Available on all podcast platforms.
Just remember to give us 5 stars.
5 stars.
And a nice review, Jonathan. Both Jonathans.
If you want to give us 50, like there are on the flag, by all means, go ahead.
That would be 10
I don't know if you
reviews.
Do that, but give it a whirl. Give it a whirl, American
10
Jonathan.
Separate
10 5
accounts.
stars.
Next, we've got a voice note from Michael.
Harriet, question for you. I'm wondering if Nads has got her own TV show, and that's obviously because she's trying to make us feel better about her ridiculousness. And that Hancock bloke went on in the jungle thing for doing the bad thing with his lady friend's bottom on camera. And Nadhim Zahawi, what's he going to do now he's done the bad? Maybe Bake Off?
Well, that's a very good question.
Sorry, Producer Martin.
Well, no. I mean, I'd like to hear what you two have to say. First of all, Nadhim, I feel like you're closer to him. You know how he works. Is he going to do the Great Pottery Throwdown? Is he more of a ready, steady cook man?
He strikes me as more of a don't pay, we'll take it away kind of guy.
Oh, is that a kind of what? He's like a bailiff?
Almost, but the other way around, because he doesn't pay, does he? And pay his taxes. And
Is this a new game show you've come up with, Eshaan?
No. It's a live-action day thriller on daytime television where they go to these people who have false sense of delusions of grandeur and buy things they can't afford, and rightly have everything taken away from them.
I can imagine him doing "Would I lie to you?" and the answer being a profound yes on every single occasion.
I can see him doing "Who do you think you are?" and finding out that he has Iranian ancestry and can no longer actually fly to the US, even though he wanted Donald Trump too. Yes.
Sorry, Nadhim. Yes, I'd like to see that.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah,
we'd all have a good laugh at that.
Good.
But I think it would be quite nice to see him on the sewing bee, because just the best bit of people come out when they're a bit of embroidery.
Well, it's important, isn't it? Because, Nadhim let us down. I speak for the country when I say that. But what's wonderful now is we do have a great rehabilitation service for our politicians, which is putting them on TV through a reality TV show. So I think it's just which one is going to work for him.
Yes.
There's Dancing on Ice. He could do that one, couldn't he?
Cash in the Attic.
Farm, Cash in the Attic.
Well, I think he'd be quite good on that.
How does that one work?
Well, what tends to happen is they tend to ask people in their 60s and 70s whether or not they have any cash in the attic. And it's actually quite a clever name because there's all these old remnants up there. Not just people, actually inanimate objects. And they find cash values for those objects, and ranging anywhere between £2 and £7 for most things, really.
And do the old people get to keep it, or does that go to Nadhim?
Well, I think in this case it would go to Nadhim. Cash it in.
Wonderful.
Take it away from their pension. Job's a good one.
Yes, and everyone has fun. I think that sounds lovely. I think that's a really, really good idea.
Are there any other celebrity reality TV show matchups that you two would like to pitch?
Love on the Cayman Islands.
Oh, and who would that be for Nadhim as well?
Yes, Nadhim. Nadhim Zahawi and Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Okay.
How that's sweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
We could see a little bromance on the island.
Casa amortization.
I don't understand.
I don't know what's happened here.
Oh, amortization is a financial term.
Right. Okay. Well, in that case, I do understand.
Yes.
Do you know what I'd like to see?
Funny.
Robot Wars. Do you remember Robot Wars?
Yes.
That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what would Nadhim do with that?
I just watch anyone on that. It was a good show.
Oh.
Craig Charles, he was, we
have to be careful, though, because although I completely
Rosie and
endorse...
Jim.
Rosie,
the
that's
terrifying
reality TV,
duck.
Eshaan.
No, but again, just good programming.
Yeah.
Ragdoll Productions.
Okay, but listen, chaps, I want to kind of just voice a sort of, I don't know, a slight worry, because although I think it's wonderful that we now have reality TV rehabilitating politicians, some of these politicians who think that they can go on shows and present and opinionate, no, sorry, you don't know what you're doing. And just because you're friendly with Boris Johnson, you think you can come on and natter at him with no discernment and no judgment. It's disgusting. It's filthy.
Right.
And as a serious journalist, it makes me want to gouge my nose out.
So I take it you and Nadine have not been talking recently, Harriet? Is that what we're to glean from?
Did I mention her name? Producer Martin?
Of course not. No,
I didn't. And listen, good luck to her. Good luck to her. She's got no experience. She doesn't know what she's doing. She can't string a sentence together, but good luck to her.
Isn't it amazing how Nadine and Nadhim have very similar sounding names?
It's a bit suspicious if you ask me, isn't it?
Have you ever seen them in the same room at the same time?
No, I haven't.
I think they're both maybe in the House of Commons.
No, I don't think they've been there at the same time.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Next up, we've got a question from Joz. Is it Joz?
Joz.
It could be Joz.
Joz could be short for Joz for Jonathan.
Could be Joz. Let's just say, next up, we've got a question from Joz. Ukraine is being seen as it will join the European Union in the future. Do you not think, seeing the enormous success of Brexit, Britain should persuade Zelensky, and Boris may be a good person to do so, to Ukraexit and become part of Great Britain?
I think this is wonderful and a really good question. Thank you, Joz. I mean, to be honest with you, look, poor Ukraine, they've gone through a really tough time. But I will say, if they join the EU, we should not help them out.
Yes, personally, I think it's absolutely insulting that Ukraine would even consider joining the European Union, given all the help that Britain is giving them. My philosophy on it is that if a country is helping you, you have to behave exactly as that country.
Completely.
And they were doing very well, actually, Ukraine, because they started disliking gay people, and they also didn't have many rights for black people. And so I thought, do you know what? Good. This is a good partnership. But now they want to join the European Union. Frankly, I think it's absolutely ludicrous.
Okay, well, none of those things are like Great Britain, though, Eshaan. We're the kindest country in the world.
To whom?
Well, I'm sorry, it's an actual fact. Lawrence Fox said it on Question Time.
Oh, right. Yeah. No,
yes.
That is a fact.
It's impossible to outfox him.
Oh, Eshaan. Always with a joke. Always with a joke. Even with a serious topic like this one.
I've got to say, I mean, Joz makes a very good point, actually. I wouldn't often say that Boris Johnson was a good person to do much, in my own estimations, but he has been over in Ukraine a lot, and he certainly struck up quite the following over there. He could be a man to help bond our countries together when the war ends, which hopefully will be very soon. And the question would be, what role does this then provide for Boris Johnson?
Well, he could be the negotiating power that do. And also, if we're going to negotiate, you can't call it Ukraexit. Surely it has to be a Zelenskyt.
That implies that Zelensky might be going, and we all like him.
But he is overseeing the exit anyway.
Well, Ukraine already has an E on the end. Shouldn't it just be called the Ukrainexit?
Ukrainexit.
That's very true, actually, Producer Martin.
Ukrainexit.
No, Eshaan. Eshaan, I feel you've gone a bit off the boil with this question.
I mean, I can see a lot of possibility for the future of these two countries. You know, I mean, Britain, you know, a lot of history. And we'll see, of course, how they play together at the Eurovision just coming up. So maybe that'll be a little soft launch.
Oh, yes, but we can't let them win a second year, can we?
We're still in Eurovision.
We're hosting it, on behalf of Ukraine.
So I guess we're like the Australia in Eurovision, aren't we? Kind of the external
the good-looking ones that people just like to have there for fun because they know how to throw a party and whatnot.
Yes.
Chaps, do you think that it could be a case of Boris Johnson is at the moment really riding high because, Rishi Sunak has fixed Brexit because of Boris Johnson?
Yes, of course.
So Boris Johnson's really showed that he can do an awful lot.
Yes.
And maybe this could be his future, that he goes over to Ukraine and he stops them going to the evil European Union.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think he can do it. And, as Boris Johnson was able to instigate, with Northern Ireland now, Ukraine could very much potentially become Northern Ireland, both access to the British market.
Yes.
And the European single market.
Yes, they are the Northern Ireland are the luckiest country in the world.
Could become the Northern Ireland of Eastern Europe.
Sort of feel like historically,
apart from the fact that they're getting bombed, but otherwise,
always,
very much like the Northern Ireland of Eastern Europe.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Right. And of course, I mean, Zelensky himself was a performer, a very talented actor and comedian before he became...
And so was Boris Johnson.
Of course.
Well, he knows how to deliver a line that isn't true.
Yes, he does, bless him.
And he's lived many a false life. So, I suppose I'd agree with that.
Oh, wonderful.
Now, finally, we have a voice note from David.
Hi Harriet, I first started listening to your show after your Facebook clips started showing up on my wall. Some of my buddies from the pit were commenting on them, singing all their praises, but I couldn't believe my ears. You don't have to blow the smoke up the government's arse and let them get away with absolute murder all the bloody time. Now that you lot have started taking questions from your listeners, I got my son over this afternoon to show me how to send you a voice email so you can open your ears a bit more and hear how the people in power right now are ruining this country. So with all that in mind, Harriet, here's my question. If you were stranded, all alone on an island with plenty of food and drink for the rest of your life, but you could only have one hobby to keep you happy, what hobby would you do and why? This is open to you as well, Marvin, if you want to get involved. Thanks both.
Oh, that's a very good question.
That is a good question, David, even though...
That's the kind of thing Laura Koonsberg would throw at you, isn't it?
Yes.
Keeping you on your toes. I mean, I don't know where to start with. Good job, right. I'm just a producer.
Thank God he didn't ask us say the price of milk.
Oh my
£1.04 in Co-op. £1.04. Absolute disgrace. Anyway, let's take it in terms. Harriet, do you have a hobby that you'd take up on a desert island?
Yes, well, my hobby is, as you know, helping people. And I think on the desert island, if I was, on myself, I would go about helping the animals, or maybe the, what's the Man Fridays? I'd help them.
So you'd just be aiding a sort of outreach support charity worker in a way.
Yes, exactly. I'd say, Man Friday, why don't you cook me a fish? And I'd give him a sense of purpose, and he could make me a little hut.
Yes.
And he could
of course, the old adage, ask a man to cook a fish and he'll cook you a fish. Show a man to cook a fish and he'll build you a hut.
Yes, exactly. So that's what my hobby would be. It would be helping Man Friday to cook for me and make me a hut.
Okay. Yeah, sure. And Eshaan, have you got any? I know you've got many a hobby. So which one? Only one hobby to occupy yourself?
My hobbies range from dog walking, house viewings, hotel stays quite frequently. Very, very fun hobbies for me.
With your touring alone for one.
Yes, just that.
Yes, good.
But I think if I were on a desert island and there were plenty of food and water, of course, they're a very primary concern. I think it's important that I feel like I have a purpose in life, which is to spread the gospel of balanced, nuanced argument. And I feel like on a desert island, there might be some quite perhaps backward people. So my hobby would be to set up antennae so that we could get GB News and Talk TV onto the island.
Wow.
To ensure that their minds expand and grow.
We don't want them to grow too much, though, because otherwise they might stop building me huts and making me fish.
Yes, fine. Only 1 hour a day.
I've got to say, both of your answers are somewhat dependent on there being people there. And I think I'm right in saying
Martin, there's people everywhere.
Well, the nature of a desert island.
Too many people everywhere. There's too many people everywhere. The very lax immigration laws on islands. I could be wrong, but I feel like the island is deserted, and that's
Martin, if there was no people, what I do is I would sing.
And if there were no people, I would dance.
Well, you could dance like nobody's watching, and I would sing like nobody cares.
Well, I know.
What would your hobby be? What would your hobby be, producer Martin?
Well, you know,
boring.
No, that's not kind, Eshaan.
Come on, I have a dream, and in that dream, I do something quite simple.
What's that?
But something that we all aspire to do.
What's that?
I think if you go around to pretty much any household in this great nation that we call Great Britain, you will find one thing adorning the walls of people.
Paint.
No, not paint. Well, yes.
Flags.
That's okay, but there's another thing.
Pictures of the Queen.
Regardless of
Pictures of the King.
Income, race, colour, creed,
Pictures
however your
Diana.
voting intention. No. And I'll tell you what it is. It's a simple message. It's been whittled. You've got it in one there. Live, laugh, love. That's what I tried to do. Yeah. Easier said than done. 3 little words.
In which order?
Sorry, is that your hobby, Martin?
I'd live like nobody was watching. I'd love myself privately in a nice, normal way. And I would laugh to the heavens. I would laugh at funny...
sound like Matt Haig or something.
Would you do this in this order?
Well, I'd probably do a bit of each every day. Go and love myself.
But what would you start with when you wake up? What would you start with? Living, laughing, or loving?
Well, I'd be living all the way through, wouldn't I? That's like the idea is that I'd keep on living until someone rescued me from this horrible deserted island. I could return to my family.
Sorry, Martin, I'm still getting over the fact that this is your hobby. It's disgusting.
I suppose it would be more of a full-time job if I was stuck on the island.
How would you light up the neon sign without any electricity on the island?
I mean, I didn't say it was neon. Look, okay, fine, juggling. I'd learn to juggle.
Yes, good, very good. Coconuts.
That's very nice, actually. Yes, well done, Martin.
Anyway, David, I hope that answers your question. And I hope that all of the answers in today's mailbag episode have been fun and rewarding for those of you that got in touch.
That's it for this week. It was fun. It was frisky. So keep those questions coming to noncensoredpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll do another one in a few weeks. Thank you, producer Martin, and thank you, Eshaan Akbar. You've both been a joy.
My absolute pleasure.
That's nice. Don't usually say nice things.
Yeah, what a nice thing to say.
It's good.
Well, I'm in a good mood.
Is that because of Jonathan?
Jonathan, plural.
No.
With thanks to Rosie Holt, Brendan Murphy, Eshaan Akbar, and Ed Morrish. I'm Harriet Langley-Swindon, and we'll be back next week with a regular episode of Non-Censored.